There's a cover up, an extreme cover up. Let me first give you their mug shots. These are people that are school teachers and principals. Put up their mug shots. These officials, and keep their mug shots up. These officials at a private Christian academy in Texas are facing felony charges because they failed to notify authorities after a 9th grader was sexually assaulted by another student during a hazing incident inside of the school. Keep their mug shots up. 3 administrators and 2 athletic coaches at Midland Christian School are identified in an arrest warrant affidavit obtained by the Daily Beast. Who do you have up there? You got the superintendent, Jared Owen Lee, secondary school principal, Dana Elizabeth Ellis, athletic director, Gregory Neal McClendon, assistant secondary principal, Matthew David Counts, and basketball coach, Barry Lee Russell. You know what's common about all of them? They are all in leadership positions. And all of them engaged in a conspiracy to cover up a violent sexual assault of a student. I'm gonna give you the background to this. It's horrific, all right? The Midland Christian's website proclaims, it says this, and I quote, "We are motivated in all facets of our faith in Jesus Christ, attempting to serve as a reflection of God's unconditional love for all people. We seek to honor the Lord in all that we do by operating Midland Christian School in a manner consistent with biblical principles. It is important to us that every word and deed engaged in by Midland Christian School, its employees, representatives, volunteers, and students be consistent with and in furtherance of Midland Christian School's religious purposes, both publicly and privately." That's what they say about themselves, all right? But here's the reality of who they are. But the 5 school officials apparently did not live up to those tenets following the alleged January attack, which was first exposed by Midland Reporter Telegram. On January 28th, a detective with the Midland Police was notified about a possible sexual assault of a child that occurred 8 days earlier after basketball practice at Midland Christian. In an interview with authorities, the unnamed victim said he just stepped into the locker room to get changed when the lights turned off. Someone said it was freshman initiation day and the 10th grader began hitting the 9th grader. It gets even deeper. The 9th grader's hands were pinned down and he was flipped over onto his back, the affidavit states. He was then sexually assaulted with a baseball bat as other students looked on and cheered, according to the affidavit. That is criminal, that is perverted, that is evil. What I'm about to show you next, words cannot describe how perverted and evil these administrators are. February 11th, police investigators showed up at Midland Christian and spoke with Ellis, the principal of the school. She told cops that she was in fact aware of the incident and it had been documented. Wait a minute, we're talking about basically a rape. And the principal says, well, it's been documented. Ellis said Lee, who's the school superintendent, was the only one who could access the files. That's what she's telling the police, okay? When Ellis told Lee about the incident, Lee ordered McClendon and Counts to, and I quote, conduct an investigation instead of notifying law enforcement or another state agency. Now, here's why this part is very important. They have a legal duty to report the abuse. There is no option here. They have a legal duty to report child abuse, child sexual assault crimes. They cannot simply do an internal investigation, write a summary, and keep it internal. That's against the law. There's more. But when Lee contacted police on February 14th, he refused to answer any questions. The superintendent refused to answer any questions or provide the documentation to which Ellis had referred, demanding that cops get a search warrant instead. Well, guess what? They damn sure did. The warrant was granted and executed that same day. Here's what they found. During the search, investigators were given access to notes written by McClendon and Counts, talking about the coaches, that documented the incident according to the affidavit. In emails between all 5 that were reviewed by police, it was made very clear that a sexual assault had occurred and the school had a duty to report. The affidavit continues, noting that there were multiple emails exchanged and that several of the administrators refused to report the incident. Once again, I highlight these stories because I need parents to be aware that real monsters exist in the world, okay? Listen to your children, make sure there's an open line of communication. This young person who was violated in this way spoke to somebody, had a conversation. That information got out and made it to law enforcement. Everyone failed him. This is a systemic failure. Everybody failed him at that school. His peers failed him. His principal failed him. His school teachers failed him. The rest of the administrators failed him. And upper management, being the superintendent, all failed this one student and did absolutely nothing to correct nor to provide justice for what happened here until the police got involved. I am applauding police involvement here. I'm not anti-cop, I'm anti-bad cop. I'm anti-bad teacher, I'm not anti-teacher. Once again, the cover up, put up their mug shots. Okay, they were all in on it, every single one of them. Now here's the question I got for you. Do you think this is the first time they've covered up something? All right, Dan, thoughts on this case?
It's a shame that they call themselves a Christian school, and we had the first graphic where you're going what they have, all these different principles they claim to lead their school by, when at no school, if as a thought experiment, we had a satanic school, I don't even think that they would handle it in this situation. Satanists are perfectly fine people. I don't know why I use that example, but it's like there's no religious context where on a human level you take this situation and as adults in the room, literal adults in the room, you brush it under the rug or ignore it. I don't care if he's a star athlete. I don't care who his parents are. This is a heinous act. And the fact that the adults in the room, like top down, covered it up in that school district, people should be questioning what are the Christian values that they practice, not only in their jobs, but around the rest of their lives. Like, are they really consistent with the teachings of the Bible? And is that something that they want to have a culture around, have a community around? I think there's definitely some tough questions for that community.
Yeah, well said.